Ukraine's getting a sniper rifle that earned its place in modern warfare. The NATO Armament M110 SASS. It's not new tech, but it's the kind of weapon that makes infantrymen like me smile at the tactical level. You know, the tactical level where accuracy and survivability mean everything. And the story behind its delivery to Ukraine says a lot about how painfully slow U.S. procurement can be, even in wartime. Hey everyone, Wes O'Donnell here, infantry veteran of the 101st Airborne Division and Air Force veteran, where we live in fame or go down in flame. And today we actually get to go back to my grunty roots and talk about the grunt stuff, enough to quench your grunty thirst. Nope, not that type of grunt. Yeah, there we go. Look at that high-speed, low-drag, steely-eyed killer. Now, I was never a dedicated sniper, but I could shoot the lips off a cockroach at 300 meters with your basic M4. The United States has finally signed the contract to send Ukraine one of the most respected semi-automatic sniper rifles in the world, the M110 SASS, or SASS. The deal, worth just over $21 million, was awarded to Knight's Armament, a company out of Titusville, Florida. It's part of a package the Pentagon announced back in 2024, but the actual production contract wasn't inked until just now. That's right, Ukraine is fighting an existential war, and the rifles we promised them last year won't all be delivered for a while now. Welcome to the American Defense Acquisition System, where even urgency has to fill out paperwork in triplicate. Let's start with the numbers. The U.S. Army Contracting Command has awarded Knight's Armament a firm, fixed-price contract valued at $21.25 million to produce and deliver the M110 SASS rifles for Ukraine. I keep calling them SASS. That's not how you say it. Knight's Armament don't send me a cease and desist. The funding comes from the Ukraine Security Initiative and the Building Partner Capacity Fund, both part of that massive $7.7 billion in weapons purchases that's been authorized but not yet contracted. This means Ukraine isn't getting a new gift. This is part of what was already promised long ago. The slow contracting process just delayed it until now. The Pentagon calls it implementing previously announced packages. To be fair, some of the logistical hurdles are unavoidable. Knight's Armament isn't a giant defense conglomerate like Lockheed or Northrop. It's a high-end precision arms manufacturer. Building thousands of sniper rifles to strict military specs takes time, especially when the supply chain for certain components still hasn't recovered from pandemic-era disruptions. Still, it raises the uncomfortable question: how many lives could have been saved if these rifles were already in Ukrainian hands a year ago? So what exactly is Ukraine getting? Well, the M110, officially the semi-automatic sniper system, is a 7.62 by 51mm NATO rifle derived from Knight's SR-25 precision platform, which itself evolved from Eugene Stoner's original AR-10. It's been in U.S. Army service since 2008, and remains one of the most respected sniper rifles in the world. The M110 bridges the gap between traditional bolt-action sniper rifles and battle rifles, where something like the M24 or Accuracy International requires the shooter to manually cycle every round. The M110 gives snipers semi-automatic fire without sacrificing precision. That means faster follow-up shots and the ability to engage multiple targets without losing sight alignment or target acquisition. It's the sniper's equivalent of having a sports car that can also tow a trailer. Power and precision without compromise. Now, the rifle comes equipped with a 20-inch cut rifle barrel made from chrome moly steel. And it uses Knight's proprietary 5R rifling pattern to improve accuracy and reduce barrel fouling. The controls are ambidextrous, which means both lefties and right-handed shooters can run it without modification. It's a small feature, but one soldiers in combat notice. The standard optic is the Leupold Mark IV 3.5 by 10x variable scope, but it can also be fitted with night vision attachments like the ANPVS-10 for 24-hour operation. Add to that the quick attach suppressor, modular Picatinny rails for accessories, and a collapsible bipod, and you've got a complete precision package ready for the varied terrain of Ukraine's front lines. Lines from open plains to urban environments. Now, the M110 has been in combat for over 15 years. It first saw action in Afghanistan in 2008 with Task Force Fury, and soldiers praised it for being more versatile than the bolt-action M24. It's since been fielded by Army, Marine, and Special Operations units across multiple theaters, including Iraq and Syria. Snipers loved its ability to rapidly switch from Overwatch to counter-sniper mode without losing accuracy, and because it's built on a familiar AR platform, it's intuitive for anyone trained on the M4 or the M16. That familiarity speeds up training time, which is a huge benefit for Ukraine's rapidly expanding sniper and marksman corps. Even though newer rifles like the M110A1 and A2 are now entering U.S. service, the SASS remains a trusted workhorse. It's rugged, easy to maintain, and performs exceptionally well in adverse conditions. Okay, so this isn't the first time the M110 has appeared in Ukraine. As early as 2022, photos surfaced showing M110s in the hands of Ukrainian Special Operations Forces, HUR Defense Intelligence, and the SBU's elite A-Team. Those rifles likely came through small-scale foreign assistance programs or were privately purchased through volunteer channels. The difference now is scale. This new U.S. contract represents a significant expansion, standardizing and scaling up Ukraine's precision rifle capability with a proven system that integrates easily with NATO ammunition, optics, and training pipelines. For Ukrainian snipers who often have to make do with patchwork or donated rifles, everything from Barrett M82s to old Soviet SVDs, this standardization is huge. It means consistent performance, easier logistics, and interoperability with NATO forces down the line. But you might wonder, why not send Ukraine the newer M110 or A1 or A2? Well, those newer rifles are still in limited production and primarily earmarked for U.S. forces. They're also significantly more expensive, with the M110A1 costing about $12,000 per rifle, compared to roughly half of that for the SASS. But the M110's design remains solid. It delivers 1.1-inch groupings at 300 feet, even with a suppressor, and maintains sub-MOA accuracy with match-grade ammunition like M118LR. In layman's terms, if the shooter does their job, the bullet goes exactly where it should. And that's not something you can say about the older Soviet SVDs still being used by Russian forces, which are effective out to about 800 meters. The M110, on the other hand, can deliver consistent kills beyond 1,000 meters with less recoil and faster recovery time. In the sniper's trade, that difference is life or death. So, on the Ukrainian battlefield, precision shooters play a crucial role in reconnaissance, target interdiction, and counter-sniper operations. In Ukraine's case, snipers are the backbone of trench warfare. They cover infantry advances, hunt Russian marksmen, and pick off logistics personnel trying to move supplies near the front. The M110's semi-auto action allows them to stay flexible in those situations, engaging targets, relocating, and suppressing return fire without losing momentum. And when paired with night vision optics, the rifle becomes a night hunter's tool. Ukrainian snipers have already proven their ability to use donated Western rifles to devastating effect, but with more M110s, they can push that advantage across more sectors. Over decades, Knight's Armament refined the SR-25 into a battle-ready precision rifle that combines modularity, accuracy, and reliability. Compared to its predecessor, the Mark 11 Mod 0, the M110 introduced a modular rail system, an improved buttstock, and better suppressor compatibility. It also integrated quick-detach sling points and standardized its scope mounts for faster setup. By 2008, the U.S. Army even ranked it the #2 top invention of the year, just behind the mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles, the MRAPs. That's a rare honor for a small arms platform, but it speaks volumes about the M110's battlefield impact. Now, later variants like the M110A1, compact semi-automatic sniper system, the SASS, and the M110A2 build on that foundation. They're lighter, they're shorter, and they use modular M-lock rails, but they owe their DNA to the original M110, the rifle now headed to Ukraine. So, what's the strategic impact of this delivery? Well, it's not a headline weapon like ATACMS or Patriots, but it plays a vital role in shaping the front. Think of snipers as the scalpel in an army full of hammers. They disrupt logistics, suppress enemy morale, and create fear disproportionate to their numbers. When you can hit a Russian officer from a kilometer away, you force the enemy to change behavior, to move at night or to stay underground. Oh, and waste resources on concealment. A widespread distribution of M110s means Ukraine can create sniper overwatch networks that make advancing Russian troops think twice before even poking their heads out. And that psychological effect compounds over time. But we still haven't talked about the delay. The rifles were part of a 2024 aid package, but took more than a year to move from announcement to contract. And even now, the production deadline is early 2027. That's an eternity in wartime. Every delay in U.S. contracting, every paused procurement decision translates into soldiers at the front waiting for the gear they were promised. It's the same issue we saw with the M1 Abrams tanks, which took months to debate before delivery. Even when Washington's intent is solid, the execution is glacial. And while Ukraine's fighters can improvise with drones and 3D printed parts, they can't 3D print sniper rifles. So yes, it's great news that this deal is finally in motion, but the U.S. defense bureaucracy needs to remember that wars don't wait for signatures. The government should be giving Knight's Armament everything it needs to be able to get these weapon systems into Ukraine's hands earlier than 2027. Okay, the M110 SASS is not flashy. It doesn't make big explosions or headline-grabbing footage, but it's the kind of weapon that wins fights, quietly and efficiently and consistently. Ukraine's war effort has been defined by adaptability. Every donated system, from javelins to Starlinks, has been turned into something greater through Ukrainian ingenuity. The M110 will be no different once it reaches the front. The takeaway here is twofold. The rifle itself is excellent, but the system delivering it needs serious reform. If the U.S. wants to remain the arsenal of democracy, it can't move at the speed of committee meetings while autocracies move at the speed of decision. The M110 will help Ukraine snipers do what they do best: outthink, outshoot, and outlast an army 3 times their size. Okay, that almost turned into a rant. That's it for today, friends. Subscribing is the best free way to support these videos and make sure I can keep feeding my dog a steady supply of doggy chewers. He freaking loves these things. And as always, glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. Crimea is Ukraine.